Well, hello everyone. This is Chrystal Lynn, Cowgirlastrologer, and I am super excited to get to come on tonight and talk about a subject I have been dying to talk about. And tonight I am going to be talking about this major happening that is going on right now as we speak, and that is the North Node is moving into Virgo. And that also means that the South Node will be in Pisces. And this is a subject I've really wanted to talk about because I am one of those rare individuals, along with many of you, because a lot of you guys write me and we get to share in the commonality of having a Virgo-Pisces combination in our charts. For those of you guys who know me, I am a Virgo and I share that. I admit it. I also have a rising and a moon in Pisces. So I understand this energy very well. So that's why I'm so excited to talk about it and get to share with you guys some of my thoughts on what is happening right now. Now, I'm going to go through all 12 signs. So this video, I don't want to make it too long, but I want to be thorough because the North Node's moving into Virgo, and that means there's an obsession about being thorough. So sit back, grab a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, and I hope you enjoy. Also, I like to do the 12 signs because this can also help you guys understand the relationships that you're in and what others might be going through at this time. So first of all, let's get started and let's talk about what is the North Node. If you do not know the North Node, where the North Node was when you were born, it is something you can find in your astrological birth chart. If you've never looked that up, I have a chart, Cowgirlastrologer.com. It's free and you can look it up. You have to put your birth date, your time, date. You do not need your time of birth to know where the North Node was when you were born. So if you were born with the North Node in Virgo, I hope you are like at the front of the class right now. Because this is going to be a powerful 18 months for you. The North Node is an 18-month cycle. And the last time that the North Node was in Virgo was in 1997. So for those of you who are born like myself in 68, you should remember what was happening in 1997. In 1997, my daughter was born. And so she was born during the North Node in Virgo. So this is her North Node return. So let's talk about the power of the North Node. The North Node is really the place that's your obsession, that's your drive in life, and really begins to unfold and come alive about the second half of your life. There's a lot of analogies about the North Node, South Node, or if you do study Vedic astrology, you will hear Ketu and Rahu. Rahu would be considered the North Node as well. The North Node is considered the dragon's head, the place that you are going towards, the obsession. And the South Node is considered the dragon's tail, the areas that we are leaving behind. If you have not entered your first Saturn yet, if you have not had that, which happens between 28 and 30, then you may really not be experiencing the power of your North Node yet. But you will begin to have trickles, and it'll also be important to realize that that is where you're going in life. The South Node really represents what we're born into. Some people talk about it as karma and past lives, and you know, that's a whole nother subject. You don't have to believe in that to understand that the South Node energy is a powerful energy that you were born into. I'm going to give you a quick example, and then don't worry, we'll get into all the signs, but I kind of want to just give a brief analogy. It's a deep subject, so I'm really just giving a brief analogy, but just to give you guys a basic understanding. I myself was born with my South Node in Libra and my North Node in Aries. So the first half of my life, till I was about 30 to 35, I was really obsessed, because that's the South Node, what we're born into, with relationships and partnerships and needing approval and needing others to validate me. It's kind of an insecurity there, because it's like you want to do things by yourself, you're confident, you have this inner drive, but something inside of you finds yourself always looking for others to make that happen in your life, and not feeling secure or confident or settled with just being a pioneer and going out on your own, you know. And as I am growing and now really activated into my North Node at 47 years old, I am moving into my North Node in Aries. And looking back, that Libra energy that I was born into, I can see that it was really a place that really was unfulfilling in my life, that I never could quite attain. I was always trying to attain it. I know he's really hurt. But as I began to move into my North Node in Aries, I started realizing that, you know what, I have what it takes, the obsession to go out on my own and not be stopped by anyone and not have anyone pull me down, begin to take over, to actually put myself first, to consider myself important in the picture of my life. It's been a long process, though. This happens over time. So going back to where we are right now, we are entering into this Pisces Virgo energy. So as the South Node is in Pisces right now, entering into Pisces, for all of you who are Pisces, and myself having a lot of Pisces, that energy of, you know, being in that sixth dimension and feeling everything, you guys know we feel everything, is going to start to dissipate a little bit. It's not going to have the grip on you as it did before the next 18 months, because the universe is really wanting to push us and drive us into this Virgo energy. When we look at the Virgo-Pisces opposition, is to me one of the most beautiful oppositions. I don't just say that because I have it, but I say that because it's a very spiritual opposition. When we look even at, you know, the symbolism of Pisces Virgo, you know, even in the Christian religion, we see the example of Jesus, the Pisces, the 12th sign of the zodiac, letting go of materialism, letting go of the things of this earth, being ready to cross over spiritually. For those of us born with that Pisces energy, it's as if we're born with this spiritual umbilical cord to heaven. We just are born with it. And a lot of times we're considered, you know, to be really out there. And we are, because we totally see into another dimension that most people don't see. And it can really rule our lives. It can be frustrating because we can see what's going on in the emotional and spiritual undercurrent, especially when we're around a lot of people and we're in groups of people or we're in relationships. We see so much deeper. We can see somebody's spirit, their soul, their aura, their vibe. We're drawn to this life of really meditation and solitude. We need that to really balance ourselves. You know, when I talk to a lot of people, especially those who have children that are Pisces, they say, oh, my child just always wants to go be alone and put on their music and hide out in their room, and they think something's wrong with that. And I tell them, no, that's the greatest moment for the Pisces, to be able to go and have that time alone to connect with themselves, because we often lose ourselves in so many other people and situations and things, and we get lost in the mix. Now, when we look at the Virgo energy, we see the symbol of, you know, Mother Mary. We see Mother Teresa. We see this almost saintly type of energy, the servant. It's this rules the 6th house of the zodiac, and it's the time of life in the season when you harvest what you've been growing all spring, and you're storing it for the winter. You're preparing for the time ahead. Virgos are extremely intelligent. The sign is ruled by Mercury, and our minds, let's face it, guys, go 100 miles an hour. So you have this very intense, mentally active person who is focused on every detail. And then this opposite side that's in this la-la land almost, which I love, of this place that doesn't like time, doesn't like order, is losing everything, kind of lives in this like messy chaos. And so you can see the struggle. Now imagine having this opposition in your chart. It's something that takes a long time to balance and to understand and to bring together. But at the end of the day, there's a spiritual connection between this opposition. So as we move in to this North Node in Virgo, the energy is pulling us away from this kind of out there spiritual place. And it's not to say that for Pisces, you're not going to have that strong intuition, but you might find that it's not leading your life and keeping you in this state of confusion. You're going to find that your mind is going to start being clearer. For each sign of the zodiac, as I go through the houses, it's going to take on a different theme. So we're going to talk about how it's going to apply for everyone. But if you look at your chart, ask yourself, where do I have Virgo and Pisces in your chart? You know, for example, I have the sun, I have Jupiter, I have a sun-Jupiter conjunction, exact conjunction in my chart. I have Pluto, I have Uranus, and it's all in the 7th house. So this is really, really powerful for me. So I'm looking at all of these areas in my life to be fully activated the next 18 months. It's really important, you guys, that we understand this part of astrology because it's the undercurrent of everything going on around us right now. Now, we just came out of the Libra Aries North Node and South Node. The North Node was in Libra the last 18 months. So you probably can testify that the obsession was really about relationships and dealing with relationships, business relationships, friendships, partnerships. Now, just because the energy is going into the sign and we're kind of excited that we're going to have all of this powerful energy in this area, you have to remember it's hot to handle. It's like lightning bolt energy. So it can really, you know, it can create, I should just put it out there, it can blow shit up, okay, in your life. So if the last 18 months you know, had relationships that fell apart or blew up, and yet you had relationships come in that are empowering, then you're right where you should be. So what is going to happen when everything changes in to the North Node in Virgo? So, you know, and again, there's so many other things going on in the sky. I mean, I could just go on for like 2 hours tonight on what's going on. So I'm going to try to keep myself focused and get going. So let's start with Aries, you guys. So Aries is going, for Aries, the North Node is going to move in to your 6th house. That's your place of work. That's your daily routine. That's the area that Virgo dwells in. So this is the time for the next 18 months to go for it with your business. If you guys have a business, if you're considering something for, you know, an entrepreneurial type venture, If you're trying to get your life in order, this is the time to really focus on that. This is also a place for health because Virgo rules our health. So you guys are going to find, as we're moving into the North Node, as these powerful things happen, sometimes issues of health come right to the surface. If you watched my last video, you know that I've been taking care of my mother, who is also a Virgo. She has Sun, Mercury, Mars there in the 12th house, which can rule hospitals. So right as this energy's been happening, she's been in the hospital. Her health, domino effect, boom, 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 really came to the surface. Issues that were kind of hiding for the last 10 years all came as this is happening. But the good news is we've got Jupiter in Virgo behind the scenes, bringing good vibrations, bringing good energy, and has given her the power to really rise through these really difficult times. So not only are we going to have the North Node in Virgo, but for also the rest of the year, just moved in this summer, so until next September, Jupiter will be in Virgo. So you guys can see Jupiter and the North Node together is going to be even more powerful. So for Aries, you've got this area of your life that you can finally put things together. This is excellent for business, but this also rules hidden enemies. So your 6th house can bring out situations. You have to be careful because everybody's going to be very focused the next 18 months. Our minds are going to be, catching things that we may normally be oblivious to, because the Pisces energy, because it's over here in the South Node, like I said, will not have as much power. So the delusions and the deceptions and the things that have been lurking are going to come to the surface, and Virgo energy is going to be able to spot them. So watch out during this time. Watch out. The other thing that you guys want to look at is that, for Aries, the South Node is in your 12th house, okay? So that's this quiet area. That's this area that we hide in. This can also rule hospitals. This can rule, jails. So be careful, again, that you're not going to do anything that's going to activate this access, okay? Because this energy will be very, very powerful. Now, as we move into looking at Taurus, this is going to light up your 5th house. The North Node will move into your 5th house. Now, your 5th house is your children, is romance, is your creativity, your creative expression. So a lot of times the Taurus, sometimes people say, they're kind of laid back. They can even be maybe a little lazy or just do things when they feel like it. Well, guess what? You are going to be so activated to express yourself the next 18 months. This is the time to start writing, to start blogging, and to focus on your children. Due to the fact that we've just come out of Saturn and Scorpio the last 2.5 years, that was activating your 7th house. So it's very possible for Tauruses that you've had a lot of intense relationship issues, betrayals, situations, again, with people that have been lurking. It's been a very intense time for the Taurus. And so I know a lot of Tauruses out there, especially more my age bracket, who have dealt with fighting for custody, fighting for children. This is the time that you will take no prisoners. You could restore those things in your life if you're fighting for your children. Take heart, because this North Node in Virgo is going to give you the mindset, the focus, the attention to take this on. It's going to give you what you need. Now, the South Node will be in Pisces in your 11th house. So this is your dreams and your wishes and the things you've been yearning for and wanting. But guess what? With the North Node in your 5th house, okay? You can make these things happen now. You know, it kind of reminds me, I know this is going to be a crazy analogy, you guys, but you guys already knows I'm kind of out there. You know, people talk about times that, you know, they've, you know, done drugs or, you know, drink alcohol, and suddenly, you know, the grass is greener and the sky is bluer and they notice things. You know, you hear people tell their stories, but that's kind of what happens in this case with the North Node in Virgo. Your mind is going to be ticking like it's possibly never ticked before. This brings in the ability to zero in, because that's the beautiful gift of the Virgo. Even though it can be annoying, I know, we don't miss anything. We catch everything in our eyes and in our perceptions. We see it like a puzzle, and we can see where the puzzle's missing, and we know exactly where that piece fell on the ground and where it landed and how to find it and how to put it back in there. And, you know, give us a Rubik's Cube and we can do that in just a few minutes, because that's how our mind ticks. That's what makes astrology so fun for me, because I love the mathematical side of astrology. So the North Node being in your 5th house, creativity and expression, North Node bringing confidence. This is the time to come out and express yourself. Come out and say what you've been wanting to say, what you've been hiding, and to really take back your life and stand up and be creative. Now let's look at Gemini. Gemini, you guys are going to have your North Node in your 4th house of home. Okay, so Geminis are already also ruled by Mercury. So this will be really, really powerful for you as well. Gemini in your 4th house, this could be the time in your life that you really want to get your house in order. Organize your house like you've never organized it before. Make it efficient. Redo it. You know, maybe you do a whole new paint job. Maybe you do a whole new decorating. Bring in fresh energy. Throw out the old stuff. You know, Pisces has a tendency to hoard and to hang on to every memory. Virgo also does that. We're collectors. But this is the time to let go of the old things, the old energy. And with your 4th house in your home, you're going to be much more focused there. Now, sometimes, because we look at the theme of Virgo energy the Virgo can be like a den mother, or a Virgo man could be like, you know, the Boy Scout leader. Okay, we take on, we're like little hens, you know. We have our little chicks, you know. We like to care for things. So this next 18 months could be a time that you bring people into your home, or that you start leading a group and that they come to your home, or that you lead a women's group and you bring them into your home. Or if you're a man, that, you know, you start a club or you get into a club of others. It's kind of the whole, you know, that friendship sign. So there's a lot of good things happening. Just remember, there's a lot of energy there. So again, you do have to be careful that, you know, things aren't exploding, or that you're not taking on too much or expecting too much from others. Virgos tend to expect a lot from themselves and others. So, you know, that really can cause disappointment and frustration for the Virgo energy, for the Virgo part of you. So be careful of that. Remember, you know, that just because we see it perfect doesn't mean it's realistic, and that working together as a team is more important than perfection. I mean, you could sit in a perfectly done house, but if you're all alone and nobody wants to talk to you because you've been too obsessed, then that's not good either. This North Node energy will bring on more of an obsession in these areas of our life. Okay, let's take a look at Cancer. I know I'm talking fast, you guys, so I hope it's not too fast, but again, this energy's affecting me. I am talking faster and thinking faster already, and it hasn't even gotten going yet. So for the Cancer, this will be in your 3rd house. This is the house of communication. This is the house of your neighborhoods and siblings and advertising. This is a great time again for business, for all the signs, you guys, all the signs. It's finally time for us to come out of the Saturn and Scorpio prison we've all been in and start working out the dreams and the ideas and the concepts that have been coming into our lives during that time that we weren't able to express yet, that we felt restricted in. You may have been estranged from relationships, family, siblings, you know, your communication. You might have felt like you just had nothing to say, or you weren't ready to say it, or you just felt so withdrawn. Well, now's the time, again, to start communicating, to say what's on your mind, to share with us how you feel, to teach us the things that we need to learn. You know, the Cancer energy is so amazing. It's a water sign. And this energy is awesome because it has the ability to read the vibrations, ruled by the moon, and often pick up on health issues and emotional health issues in others. And the Virgo is the nurturer, is the caretaker, is the nurse. So this could be a time that maybe you're taking care of a sibling, or you're taking care of a mother, or you're taking care of someone. You're nurturing that person. You're there for that person. You have this energy, even if it's with your words, because the 3rd house, ruled by Gemini, ruled by Mercury, is about communication. So if you have some Cancer friends out there, or you're a Cancer, you guys are going to have powerful words that bring healing and that bring, you know, bring some really good stuff to the table. So again, time to come on out and start to share what you've been through, what you're going through. And we need to hear from you. Now we're going to look at Leo. Leo, you guys had a hard time too the last 2.5 years as Saturn and Scorpio squared your sign, and a lot of ego issues, and just feel like you've been, you know, knocked on your butt and had to really look at deep inner stuff. And, you know, the Leo wants to have a good time. They are the most amazing sign for celebrating and just the life of the party. And you guys haven't really been able to be the hostess with the mostest the last 2 years. So now, as the North Node moves in to your 2nd house of money, this is the time you're going to be real obsessed with making money and getting out there. Now, last year, we had Jupiter in Leo, as you guys know, for the whole year. And so all of us were really focused on us. Look at me, branding ourselves, selfies everywhere. You know, it's kind of a very narcissistic energy. And I say that in the nicest way. I have Mars in Leo, so, you know, I know what that feels like to, you know, really feel like, hey, I'm special. Look at me. I have something to offer. You know, don't forget who I am. And so the Leo really gets their energy from being recognized, from being special. They thrive in that energy. But as the North Node and Jupiter move into Virgo, it changes that, and it becomes a much more humble energy, a much more, you know, let's get to work, you know, and stop thinking about yourself. Think about others. And this will be a time, again, you're focused on your finances, also focused on, you know, the things of your family, that heritage that gets passed down, those things that we value and that give us security. And so there's a lot of issues that will come up for you that bring that sentimental feeling. This could be a great time to start a business with a hobby that maybe you had as a child. okay? Because that second house really rules that area. Now, being that the South Node will be in your 8th house, that's taxes and issues, you know, the South Node is going to be being activated different. Pisces in that area there may really bring confusion or truth there that you maybe don't quite know what to do with. So this is going to be a really important time that you strike out on your own and you aren't looking for other people's money to make you okay, because the 8th house rules other people's money. Now, I didn't mention, I'm going to backtrack just a quick second here, because I was going to kind of do North Node, South Node, but for Gemini and Cancer, your South Node in Pisces will be in your 10th house of career. So your career for Gemini is not going to be as important as your home. It's not going to hold the power, and you know, it's going to be more drawn towards home, even making a home business. Remember, Virgo is the entrepreneur of the zodiac, home business with creative ideas. And for Cancer, that'll be your 9th house of spirituality and can also represent father. So maybe your father for Cancer's had a really strong grip on you for a long time. Well, guess what? It's not going to have that grip on you. You're going to want to strike out on your own, in your own community, and kind of reconnect with more of your siblings and cousins and friends, people that are your peers. Okay, so I hope that didn't confuse everybody, but I know you guys can bear with me, and you can always rewind and fast forward and stop and replay later on this video because it's be a little lengthy. But so Leo, for you guys, this is about you finding that security in how you make money and doing it on your own, stepping out, and that will help build your confidence back after everything that you've been through. Okay, this is about you doing it for you and not for anyone else. Okay, now Virgo. Oh, Virgos, we have had a really rough time the last 8 years. Several reasons. In 2007, Saturn moved into Virgo, and that was from 2007 to 2009. So we got our butts kicked. And because Virgo does rule small businesses, we got hit. The small businesses got hit everywhere. Money, how we make our money. We just got hit in every area of our life. And then we moved into Saturn in Libra, which hit our money house. And then we moved into Saturn in Scorpio, which ruled our communication and relationships. So we've just been struggling, Virgos, to find our way back to who we are. And again, that confidence. The North Node brings in confidence, brings in obsessions, brings in what we love, our passions. And it'll dissipate those 7th house Pisces relationships that have been really delusional and really deceptive and really painful. They're going to lose their grip on us. You know, one thing about the Virgo is some people can say, oh, well, they're kind of cold or maybe non-emotional. That's really not true. It's just that we hide our feelings so much behind our giving. We feel more comfortable giving than receiving. We feel more comfortable giving to others than expecting anything from anyone. And it's not because we're prideful. It's actually because when we have to ask others for help, we actually feel like something's wrong with us. And it kind of plays in on this perfectionistic side of us, this psyche that we have. That we feel like maybe we're a failure, that we're in the position that we need someone. And we're afraid to be in that position because in our minds, we really think we can do it all. And in the real world, or in a real world other than the one we're in, the one that's in our mind, we can do it all. We're very skilled. We're very self-sufficient. And we enjoy putting our emotions aside and taking care of business. So this is the time to do that. Excuse me, you guys, I keep itching my nose, my hair in the wind. There you go. There's the Virgo perfectionistic thing I had to make note of. So for us, this is our time now. We're coming back. We're getting this surge of energy. Not only that, we've had Mars in Virgo, Venus in Virgo, all through October. We had the Sun in Virgo last month. So, and we have Jupiter right there with us. So it's like the universe comes in and says, you know what? I know you've been through hell and back, but I am going to recorrect. I am going to redeem you. Everything that you've been through, I'm going to give you this miraculous energy to raise you up and let you be all that you are. And you know, it's really funny because, well, it's actually not funny, but I've shared a little bit about my mom. The last 7 weeks, I have, like, my whole life has changed upside down, or right side up, I should say. And I've been my mother's full-time caretaker. And prior to that, I just was feeling kind of lost and had my own schedule and, you know, living in my little Pisces world, me and my son, and, you know, able to do my astrology and not have to really have intense expectations on myself. I've been able to kind of go with the flow of my life and, you know, and it's been pretty freestyle. But when my mother got sick and broke her hip, and then had a series of events happen after that, I have had to, like, you guys have no idea, like, give medications, blood pressures every day. I'm like cleaning her house, I'm grooming her dogs, I'm doing the dishes, I'm doing the laundry, I'm starting her, you know, helping her organize. And, you know, being that I have a Virgo mother, even though she's not been able to get up and help me, she has been like, she doesn't miss a thing. Okay, she's like a triple Virgo. Okay, so like I'm like a laid back Virgo, but no, like she's Virgo, super Virgo. So, you know, it's been intense to keep up with her and her high expectations for her care and what she needs. And we laugh all the time because, you know, she'll be like, you know, where's my cell phone? Did you charge it? Did you take the trash out? Did you feed the dogs, water the dogs? You know, list. And you know what? I have had the amazing energy, this side of me that I haven't even really seen in about 7-8 years. It's just coming to the surface. And my mind is sharp. It's clicking. I'm able to finish thoughts. I'm able to see things in order. And it's helping me take care of my mother. So God knows what he's doing. At the time my mother needed me the most, and at the time that I needed to rise to the occasion, if ever before in my life. I mean, literally her life has been in my hands. I mean, I call her the comeback kid because she's faced some scary situations several times right in my hands, and I had to think quick. And I had to make decisions. And because of that, I was able to do what I needed to do. And that's that North Node Virgo energy fueling me to be able to rise to the occasion and to have this amazing time with my mother. So that's an example. But for you Virgos out there, if you're having to do something right now that you just, you know, is hard, like taking care of someone, just know that you're going to get everything you need to do that. If you're starting a business, launching a business, this is your time, guys. This is your year. Have the confidence. Everything you touch, with Jupiter right behind you, backing you up, can happen now and kick off this next 12-year cycle. So Virgos, you're the ones. Do it. You can do it. All right, Libra, this will rule your 12th house. Now, Libras, this is going to take you a little bit behind the scenes now into a little bit more of a place that you begin to really develop that time alone. Now, for a Libra, that can be really hard because you guys are the relationship sign, are so used to, again, thriving off the energy of others. But this is going to give you the energy to finally come to this place where you can really focus on your inner self and that spiritual place for yourself. You know, it's funny because during this time that all of this has happened, my husband, who has a Libra rising and a moon in Libra, you know, he and I, you know, he's taking care of my son. I'm coming over here taking care of my mother. We're meeting, we're separating. He's had to be alone with my son a little bit more. It's the first time we've been apart ever. We're like, you know, always right there together. But it's building the strength in us. And he is taking care of our schedules. He's taking care of our life. He's like taking care of so many details that, you know, I took care of, that we're sharing now on top of his work. And he's getting the energy to do this. So we're working this out together. It's kind of a blessing that it's in his 12th house right now, because he's able to take care of those things behind the scenes. And he has a real contentment and a real support to me. So that's one way that can play out. If you're pursuing a spiritual pursuit the next 18 months, or travel, or developing, you know, a side of you that you've never taken the time to do while you were alone, you're going to have what it takes. You're going to be drawn to that place. And your work, your schedule at work, because that's the South Node in Pisces, might be a little bit not as controllable, because it's not going to have the power and the grip on you. Your spiritual life is going to be really important. Because it rules hospitals and because it rules jails and all of that, be careful. I always say, because, you know, if you're not in a good place in your life, the North Node can bring that out as well. Whatever your passion is, whatever your obsession is, that's what the North Node will bring to the surface. It's already being developed. It's already there. The North Node is just like a huge wind to bring it forth. So if your heart's not in the right place, be careful, okay? Because those things could come out to the surface, the hidden things in the 12th house that we hide. So you do want to be aware of that as well. Now, Scorpio, this is going to fuel your 11th house. Scorpios, you know, you guys have been through a lot as well, dating back to Saturn in Libra. That was, you know, dealing with the 12th house stuff. And then it hit your first house. So you've been through this transformational period, the last 5 years, last 6 years. Now the North Node is going to remind you about your dreams and your wishes and your friendships. Maybe you've really isolated yourself. Well, you know what? You're going to want to get out and be around your groups again, be around your friends again. Get out there and be a part of what's going on. This is a great place for you guys because you have so much wisdom to share now. You have so much, and it's about being honest. It's about being truthful. It's about getting out. This will detach from the 5th house in Pisces, where your children and all of those things, maybe that kind of creative side of you may not feel as, you know, like I said, is empowered, or there may be a detachment. You may be sending kids off, maybe graduating, or they may be going to school, or they may be more independent. You may feel a little lost, but you're going to find the answer in your friendships, in your dreams, in your wishes, in your hopes, and in more humanitarian type efforts, okay? So that's where the money is in your North Node. Sagittarius, you guys know Saturn's moved into Sag now. We're heading full force ahead. And you guys are in your transformation, but the North Node will be fueling, along with Jupiter, your 10th house of career. So even though you're going to be dealing with your identity, Your career is going to be taking on a whole new life of its own, and your reputation. So, you know, for a lot of Sagittarius, they've been, you know, trying to make something happen for a long time, hanging on to this one thing. And you guys know you're the dreamers, you're the visionaries. You shoot way out. And I think with Saturn and Scorpio, you've been really repressed and held back and afraid to dream. Well, guess what? Dream big. Now Saturn's going to help you get there. You're going to have to go back to school, okay, quote unquote. And school could mean a lot of things. It could be like going back to school, or, you know, learning something. I mean, guys, the information on the internet, and it's free. You could really teach yourself something. It's all about focusing on your career and your identity and who you are, and coming back a completely different person. You may have felt like, this is the way I've been going for so long. This is my security. This is what I know, but it just ain't happening for you anymore. And that South Node in your fourth house, your home, it's gonna be detached. You're gonna be wanting to get out more and travel more and try something totally crazy, okay? But your career is highlighted here the next 18 months, all right? So this process of Saturn and your career working together, you know, you're gonna look like a completely different person at the end of this North Node cycle, okay? So let it happen. You guys know how to make it happen and dream big. So it's time to come out. The jail cell is open. Time to fly. Time to fly, you guys. All right, Aquarius. Aquarius, this North Node is going to move into your 8th house. 8th house of intimate relationships, other people's money. And the Aquarius often, you know, kind of can come off as detached. We know that because they're so interested in knowing a little bit about everybody. It's similar to the Gemini. It's that air sign. They, you know, they want to do something good for everyone, the humanity. You know, it's funny because often you can be in love with humanity and not like humans, okay? So this is a time that you're really maybe slowing down from that drive of trying to make money and trying to be incredible, and going to this place of really looking at your intimate relationships and your more intimate resources. You might be behind the scenes working on something, healing from something. The 8th house here is a place that you're going deep spiritually, but it's also a place that money can be made. So with the North Node here, go back and get your affairs in order. Get that behind the scenes stuff in order. Really look at the truth of your life, not everybody else's lives, because it's so easy to focus on everybody else, and even doing great causes for everybody else. Sometimes we can get into the savior mode, and then we feel good because we're doing good things. So how could we have any problems? Because on the outside, we're doing great things. This isn't about that now for you guys. This is about doing inner work and taking care of the inner foundation and being with those people that are your closest, making relationships right, going back and looking what really matters. And in that process, the North Node in Virgo, because Virgo's a money sign, you guys. Everything I'm talking to you guys about is a place that you can make money the next 18 months. So what story is unfolding for you in this 8th house? What story? Go there. Don't be afraid to have those emotions, Aquarius. You have them. They're down deep in there. You have them. Now go there. Allow yourself to feel. Allow yourself to look. And really look at your finances. Look at your life. Look at your, you know, you might be making up a will. You might be dealing with inheritance. You might be dealing with serious tax issues. Well, guess what? Take it head on. Don't be afraid of it, because the Virgo energy will give you what you need. And remember, Jupiter's there to back you up. that blessing, that positive, expansive energy to give you ideas and solutions. We're never trapped, you guys. Sometimes we feel like, I can't do anything other than this. You know, I'm so trapped, and we get in that negative mindset. Oh no, come out of the box, think out of the box, which the Aquarius is so amazing at doing. But this is a time for some deep inner work, and it's much needed. You were hit hard after Saturn and Scorpio as well. So don't be afraid. Get your affairs in order so that when you're ready and you're ready to give out to humanity again, you're going to be a powerhouse, because your foundation will be solid and your relationships will be much more secure. Okay? All right, my dear Pisces and myself, Pisces rising. This is your 7th house of relationships. The North Node will bring in a lot of relationships. We've been hiding out as well. The Pisces has really been through a lot, because Saturn in Scorpio was really taking us down to a deep spiritual place. Our psychic abilities are off the hook. I know for myself now, I'm a completely different person over the last even few years. Saturn and Scorpio helped me really grasp my intuition and the psychic side of me, and not be afraid to use that word, and not be afraid to embrace my abilities to use it. But I had to really go in and develop it. And Saturn and Scorpio brought me away and from a lot of people into a place of solitude, because it was only in that place that I could really find myself, that I could really quiet down my mind enough to allow this gift to come forth. And you have to get really quiet to really learn to read the energies out accurately. And now with the North Node here in my 7th house, I get to come out. I get to share with others now. I get to teach. With Jupiter here, I get to teach. Jupiter's the teacher. So this is an amazing time for the Pisces to step up. The Virgo-Pisces are going to be powerhouses. Now, it's going to ask us to really get out of that place where we're comfortable being alone, because Pisces, the South Node in Pisces, will be in the 1st house of our identity. And so since our identity has been under such construction, we've been hiding. You know, the Pisces is very private. So is the Virgo. We're very private. We don't like to share with others when we're suffering or in pain or grieving. Some people say, you know, the Pisces is the martyr. Well, it's just, you know, we're not comfortable putting all of our grief and emotions out for everyone to see. We can wear our emotions on our sleeve where people can see it in us, but the deep, dark stuff, no, we hide. We hide very, very deeply. But the good news with the South Node there in Pisces, it's going to release and let go and let go of all that intense emotional stuff. We're not going to feel as emotional. And we can get to some work now. We can get something done now. With our 7th house, it's more business-minded. And we can use our intuition and do something practical with it. See, that's the beautiful thing, you guys, about this axis, is that we're going to take that energy, that Pisces energy that we've been all developing. You know, Neptune is in Pisces, you guys know, and it's just, I mean, it's a whole nother subject, which I'll talk more about. Hasn't happened in 165 years. And this Pisces energy has taken the Pisces to a whole new dimension. So if you have Pisces in your life, or you are a Pisces, you guys know what I'm talking about. But at the same time, it's like learning to, you know, to speak this language on a very masterful level. To speak this language that we've always had inside of us, but we've never been allowed to speak. Now with Neptune there, it's our native tongue. It's the spiritual language And when you talk to another Pisces, like that's my favorite sign, because when I talk to another Pisces, we don't even have to talk. We just look at each other's eyes and we know, like we can just go, oh, so awesome to not have to talk and to be able to look at each other and talk through our eyes, talk through the energy. But that energy isn't going to be so overwhelming now and so almost, you know, suffocating at times. It can be, you know, hard, and it can bring on a lot of anxiety because, you know, it's so activated and we're so sensitive. So with Pisces in the South Node, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna diminish that. And our North Node, that Virgo energy, is now gonna come to the surface in our 7th house. We're gonna be able to really share this gift with others. So you guys, I hope that was helpful. I know this was really long, but hey, I'm so glad to be back. I haven't been able to do a video in a while. I am open for readings. I'm here. I have some specials still on my website. Come do a 1-hour Skype with me, or a 30-minute, or I can make you a video. I also have some chart reports, natal chart reports on my website for $25. They're like 25 pages. They're awesome, written up, that explains your whole chart. So you can order one of those from me and I will make that up and send it to you. And I'm here for you guys. And I really look forward to being able to share more about this. And please tell me how you guys are doing, how you're doing, and what's going on, how this is affecting you. If you have any questions, please write them below, and maybe my next video, I'll do some question and answers. And so if you have any questions right now, write them below and I'll do that, okay? All right, you guys, I hope this was helpful. I apologize if I talked too fast. I wanted to get everything in, and I hope you have an awesome night. So we'll see you later. Oh, and we're at the tail end of our full moon in Taurus. So there you go, you guys. Dream big and manifest, and know that times are changing, but we're ready, and it's about time. We needed it. See you later.